Welcome to the Tech Mobility Podcast, brought to you by Playbook Investors Network, your strategic partner for unstoppable growth. Visit pincommunity.org to get started.
I'm Ken Chester. On the docket, my review and impressions of the Lexus ES 350 F-Sport sedan, the truth about Chinese AI, and why climate change is more dangerous in the Arctic. To add your voice to the conversation, be it to ask a question, share an opinion, or even suggest an idea for future discussion, call or text the Tech Mobility Hotline. That number, 872-222-9793, or you can email the show directly, talk@techmobility.show. If you enjoy Substack, you can also find me there at Ken, the letter C, IOWA, as a proud member of the Iowa Writers Collaborative. From the Tech Mobility News Desk, I have here before me two different stories that are slightly different but are related. And looking at them, I think I'm going to try to talk about them both because there's a common theme here. One is from Automotive News, and the other is from the Wall Street Journal. So let me start with the automotive news part, and then I'll kind of lead into why I feel they're related. Volvo eyes U.S.-built supersized SUV to battle Mercedes GLS and BMW X7. I'm going to let that sink in for a minute. Volvo is obviously owned by Chinese car maker Geely, has been since Ford sold them. And the reason why this is related is now the Wall Street Journal article says Chinese car maker Geely looks at expanding in the United States. The crossover advantage here is Geely has a premium brand in China called Zeekr, that is Zeekr. And it just launched a full-size 3-row SUV called the 9X last year. This gives Volvo the opportunity to raid the parts bin. The question is, even with Geely's backing, does this make sense? According to Volvo's broader production strategy in the United States, they have just revealed plans to build a next-generation plug-in hybrid at its South Carolina factory. It would make the fourth model at that plant, which produces the EX90 and the Polestar 3, and they're going to be adding the XC60 by early next year. Now, they were being a little cagey about whether or not this could go this way. But here's my thought on this. There are only so many six-figure SUVs you can sell. I mean, let's be honest for a minute. BMW X7 and a Mercedes GLS, they're not selling 200,000 and 300,000 of these. And these are very specific, very, very particular, performance-oriented, very crafted vehicles. Yes, Volvo has that reputation. But Volvo lately has been taking an interesting turn, at least in the last few Volvos that I have reviewed, in terms of I'm not okay with them forcing me to relearn how to drive. One thing that I've noticed about new Volvos is they've reimagined everything relative to the driver experience. And while, yes, if you're willing to be patient to relearn everything, and your relationship to how things work and what happens, you are very richly rewarded. But the problem is it always worth the time to have to learn? I mean, it's totally different. Anything that you can think about that you would interact with in the car is different from what you've learned, what you know, what you've come to expect, even if you own an older Volvo. It's totally different. Is this the approach they really want to take at this level? I have always said, and I believe it, when you are paying big money for technology and performance, I expect technology to be transparent. I don't expect technology to get in my way. I expect technology to make the experience even more amazing. BMW had a little trouble with that because their technology would get in the way. Mercedes did too, to the point where about 10, 15 years ago, Mercedes actually had to decontent their vehicles because they were overly complicated. I don't believe that high price has to mean highly complicated vehicles. I feel that if you're paying that kind of money, it should be, like I said, amazing. The question is, because right now, Volvo's plant in South Carolina, even if they were going to build it there, doesn't have the ability to build a big SUV. The dealers are clamoring for it. That's absolute. According to the Wall Street Journal, they have talked about wanting this next level up. That's the big deal. They want the next level up because dealers are complaining that they're losing people that have got as far as the SC60. They want something else. They don't have that next size up, and they're leaving the brand. And they want to keep folks in the brand. Now, this Zeekr 9X, this large, full-size, three-row SUV that they've launched in China, it's a plug-in hybrid, would give 236 miles of zero-emission range, and ultra-fast charging capable of replenishing 80% charge in 10 minutes. Personally, I think if you're going to be in this field, you're going to need at least 100 more miles to even 150 more miles, because I can buy a top-end GM high-class performance EV today with a range of 460 miles today. I can buy a Lucid Gravity today with a range of almost 500 miles. They're going to be competing in a very rarefied air, and while Volvo's kind of been middle premium luxury, they're swinging for the fences with this one. And I offer up Subaru back in the 90s as a cautionary tale. And the reason why I do that, back in the 90s, Subaru had a reputation of being inexpensive and built to stay that way. Four-wheel drive was their mantra. Their vehicles were bulletproof. They had a solid reputation. But somewhere in the middle of that, somebody at Subaru said, you know what? We want to be all things to all people. We want to expand our car line. We're going to go front-wheel drive. We're going to do all this stuff. It almost killed the company off. Subaru came really close to throwing a towel in America. It was the Subaru Outback in 1995 that saved them. Once they learned that lesson, they stayed in their lane. My issue is, yes, the dealers are clamoring for it, but can they deliver the numbers to justify the expense, even if they lift the Zeekr 9X and bring it up to Volvo standards and offer it in the United States, built in America? I would be very surprised if Volvo sold 15,000, 20,000 of them. And I'm sorry, that's not enough to justify it. Now, depending on which way tariffs go, it would make sense to import it from China at those low levels. But to spend all of this money, the training, the development, what the dealers would have to carry, and all of that, I think it's something the dealers are asking for that I don't fully appreciate. I don't think they fully appreciate the requirement. Geely and Volvo are supposed to make a decision in the next 24 to 36 months if this is going to happen. So you want to stay tuned. They have the ability to do it. But whether or not they build it in the United States or import it from China, right now, tariffs will have a major say in that. And then it's a matter of, are they going to spend the billions of dollars necessary to add another line at South Carolina to justify this? I don't see the numbers working. I see it working as an import. I don't see it working as a U.S.-built vehicle. Not at the volumes they need to make that work. Even if they're brand engineering, even if they're borrowing a brand from another part of Geely, I still think that the expenses are going to be higher than they think. The Lexus ES is a sedan with a long history in the automaker's American lineup. Is it still relevant? You are listening to the Tech Mobility Show.
In business, opportunity doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Playbook Investors Network, we connect visionary entrepreneurs with the strategies, resources, and capital they need to win. Whether you're launching, scaling, or reimagining your business, our network turns ambition into measurable success. Your vision deserves more than a plan. It deserves a playbook that works. Playbook Investors Network, where bold ideas meet bold results. Visit pincommunity.org today.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than AONmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. AONmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
To learn more about the Tech Mobility Show, start by visiting our website. I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. The website is a treasure trove of information about me and the show, as well as where to find it on the radio across the country. Keep up with the happenings at the Tech Mobility Show by visiting techmobility.show. You can also drop us a line at talk@techmobility.show.
Every great business starts with a spark, but taking it to the next level takes strategy, connections, and capital. That's where Playbook Investors Network comes in. We're your strategic partner for accelerating growth, navigating challenges, and capturing market opportunities before your competition does. Your business is more than an idea. Let's make it an impact. Playbook Investors Network. Your future starts here. Learn more at pincommunity.org.
On the road to perfection, there are no highways called compromise. There are no streets named adequate. There are no shortcuts. And the next stop is a million miles away. The new ES, refined with a passion.
That would be the second generation Lexus ES. That would be 2005, actually, some 21 years ago. The relentless pursuit of perfection. That was Lexus's mantra forever. Now it's experience amazing, but we'll get back to that in a minute. The Lexus ES is a mid-sized luxury sedan that was launched by the automaker shortly after the introduction of the original flagship LS sedan in 1989. The ES sedan is positioned by the automaker in the comfort luxury segment, with an emphasis on interior amenities, quietness, and ride quality, in direct contrast to the more taut-riding German sports sedans that also populate the segment. In the United States, the ES has been the best-selling model for the nameplate for over 15 years. The seventh and current generation of the Lexus ES went on sale in the United States in September of 2018. The automaker also introduced an F-Sport trim designed to attract a younger audience to the model. The current ES rides on the automaker's global architecture K platform that is shared with the Toyota Avalon, Camry, and Lexus RX. The 2025 Lexus ES is available in standard, luxury, and ultra-luxury trim levels. The ES F-Sport models are offered in design and handling trim levels. Based on the ES equipped with the premium package, the F-Sport adds 19-inch split 5-spoke alloy wheels with a gloss black finish and F-Sport exterior styling, including a unique bumper, grille surround, and rear spoiler. Intuitive parking assist comes standard, with other available features that include a Mark Levinson sound system, power rear sunshade, panoramic roof, triple beam LED headlamps, and a power trunk with kick sensor. The F-Sport handling model kicks things up a notch and is available on the ES350 and ES300H, further enhancing the driving appearance and sportiness of the Lexus ES. Based on the exterior of the ES F Sport design, the ES F Sport handling comes standard with Sport Plus and custom drive modes, intuitive parking assist, Sport Tune adaptive variable suspension, heated F Sport steering wheel, and Hadori aluminum trim, aluminum pedals, and a black headliner. Inside the cabin, buyers have the option to equip their ES F Sport handling with additional features, including that Mark Levinson speaker, 17-speaker, 1,800-watt pure play surround sound system, and a power rear sunshade. On the exterior, F Sport handling options include premium triple beam LED headlamps, and that power trunk with a kick sensor. And if you haven't guessed already, my review, impressions, and comments will be restricted to the ES F Sport handling model. The exterior of the Lexus features a dynamic stance with a sleek coupe-like silhouette inherited from the flagship LS. The Lexus signature grille headlines the front end with striking bi-LED headlamps. A power tilt-slide moonroof comes standard, but of course in this case we've got the panoramic sunroof, so you don't have to worry about that, creating a unique outer sliding design that creates a seamless experience with providing ample natural light. Power for the ES350 was generated by the 3.5-liter gasoline V6 engine, which makes 302 horsepower and 267 foot-pounds of torque. Energy is communicated to the front drive wheels via an 8-speed automatic transmission. All-wheel drive is not available for this trim level. EPA fuel economy is 22 city, 31 highway. Cargo capacity is 13.9 cubic feet. Here's what I liked about the ES350 F Sport. Manufactured in Georgetown, Kentucky, the Lexus ES is smooth, quiet, and competent. The driver has 5 unique drive modes on demand to optimize performance in just about any road condition. In true Lexus fashion, the 2025 ES blends a driver-centric cockpit with spacious and comfortable areas for the passengers. A streamlined instrument panel design embraces seamless cabin integration with Lexus interface displayed on a standard 8-inch touchscreen. An available technology package includes a 12.3-inch touchscreen with Lexus interface, a head-up display, and smart access card key. The Lexus ES carries a spare tire located under the cargo floor, accessible from the inside, and y'all know how I love that. Here's what I didn't like about the Lexus ES. Now, while there's plenty of legroom, seating comfort left something to be desired. I was surprised at that, especially in long trips. The rear seats do not fold down, nor were equipped with heating or cooling options. That was a surprise to me. The dash-mounted speed limit indicator was often wrong, and I've talked about this at length. It's not just a Lexus thing. Most of these that I have come in contact with in a variety of automakers are hardly ever accurate. Finally, I can't help but feel that the ES has lost its visual wow factor of past models. It does seem a bit stodgy, but that's subjective. That's me. What's the bottom line here? The 2025 ES 300 F Sport does everything that you have come to expect from Lexus. Bank vault solid, smooth, quiet, inviting, crazy reliable. What seems to be missing, in my estimation, is that luxury edge or wow factor that it's enjoyed for so long. It seemed like when you saw Lexus, it wasn't enough that it was all that, but it gave you that little extra that like that wow, like woo, like, and I seem to be missing that. The good news is that the car is more than reasonably priced for what you get, no question. The base manufacturer suggested retail price for the 2025 Lexus ES 350 F Sport sedan starts from $47,800 for the F Sport design and $49,675 for the F Sport handling. Destination charges add $1,175. The ES 350 F Sport handling is equipped with the following extra cost options: panoramic view monitor, Blackline Special Edition package, smart access card key, power trunk with kick sensor, triple beam LED headlamps, head-up display, large touchscreen display, illuminated door sill, carpeted trunk mat, rear bumper applique, rear dash camera, and illuminated trunk sill. Total cost of the options, $7,175. Total MSRP, including options and destination charges, came to $56,850. And I got to tell you, regardless how I feel about where its styling is, this is a good deal. I mean, and that's not marked up. That is the sticker price from the factory. And honestly, if you're looking for something that's not an SUV, that's not a crossover, this doesn't happen to be a hybrid, although you can get it in a hybrid. But I would recommend this vehicle, particularly if you're looking for sanctuary, looking for a long life, comfort, relaxation, this is your ride. It really is. It's really one of the main reasons why it's been Lexus's best seller in the American marketplace for so long. It's time somebody told the truth about Chinese AI. This is the Tech Mobility Show.
You've got the drive. You've got the vision. Now you need the right partner to make it happen. At Playbook Investors Network, we power ambitious leaders with the tools, insight, and investment connections to move faster, grow stronger, and lead markets. We're more than advisors. We're your co-pilots in success. Because in business, standing still is not an option. Playbook Investors Network, fueling ambition, delivering results. Visit pincommunity.org.
Did you know that Tech Mobility has a YouTube channel? Hi, I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. Each week, I upload a few short videos of some of the hot topics that I cover during my weekly radio program. I've designed these videos to be informative and entertaining. It's another way to keep up on current mobility and technology news and information. Be sure to watch, like, and subscribe to my channel. That's the Tech Mobility Show on YouTube. Check it out. Okay, here's the question before the rant. Will American corporate short-sightedness cost us the lead in the development and application of artificial intelligence? I've reported here months ago of how a young Chinese company had developed an AI model that was as good as what we developed, but at a fraction of the cost. As they say, that was then, this is now. Welcome to Topic B. You remember DeepSeek? You remember all the big dust-up and the crisis when DeepSeek brought to market an open-source AI model for $6 million of development. Your average of big data was spending $100 million just to validate their models. Everybody, the market fell. Everybody was going all crazy and everything. And then suddenly, the noise subsided and things didn't change. When DeepSeek's R1 model was introduced, at that time, it led to a $750 billion decline for the S&P 500 and a record $590 billion loss for NVIDIA. Chinese AI firms, including the Six Tigers, have seen revitalization and have made global inroads and put a tack in that. We're coming back. With Alibaba's Qwen model surpassing Meta's Llama in downloads. U.S. hyperscalers, I'm talking about Meta, Google, them folks, plan to spend, and that includes Oracle too, $600 billion in capital expenditures. Not over 20 years, not over 10 years, not over 5 years. This year alone, they're going to spend $600 billion on AI. A 36% increase. How much do you think Chinese firms are spending this year? 15 to 20% of that? Roughly what? Between, I don't know, let's see, a maximum of about $130 billion I want you to let that sink in. DeepSeek's R1 success challenged the idea that AI development would require outrageous demand for hardware and outsized profits for NVIDIA, shaking the very foundation that the U.S. bull market had been built upon. And unlike most leading U.S. models, R1 is what they call open weight, meaning its parameters are publicly available for anyone to download on their hard drive. DeepSeek's efficiency, according to one quantitative investor, suggests that the entire industry had been massively over-provisioning compute resources. He warned that NVIDIA's profit margins could crumble as competitors develop their own cost-efficient chips. Interesting thing happened on the way to the market. But the impact receded from those headlines almost as quickly as it has appeared. Everything bounced back. Why is that? Because the U.S. AI ecosystem had achieved its global dominance by deploying chips and compute at massive scale. With a clear lead in hardware, it had little incentive to pursue China's efficiency-first strategy. There was no paradigm shift. Lingering fears of DeepSeek evaporated when investors realized the capital infusion was fueling the AI trade by further spiking demand for semiconductors, utilities, memory, and cooling solutions. In the year following the DeepSeek surprise, increased compute has indeed yielded more capable models that in turn demand even greater processing power to navigate the resulting explosion of data, a phenomenon known in the field of AI as a scaling law. The rise of more powerful AI coding agents has played a key role in development. This year, the pressure is on for both American and Chinese companies to prove that their AI investments can translate into tangible economic value. Here comes the rant. It is history that American businesses ignore upstarts at their own peril. I won't even begin to give you examples. There are too many, and not just in retail. What do I see that they don't see? When you can figure out how to do a lot with a little, then you're easily scaled up. It also means that if you're spending less money and getting the same or better results, that your chance of getting return on investment, your chance of proving to be viable makes more sense. If I was an investor in an AI company now, I would still be asking the hard question. Yeah, I see how AI is lifting the boats of these other industries. But what if DeepSeek and companies like DeepSeek kick the props out from underneath the whole thing? Doesn't the house of cards crumble and fall? If DeepSeek and Chinese companies learning how to do a lot with nothing or a little figure out how to keep pace, even if they just keep pace, they don't even have to leapfrog, just keep pace. Then how can you, as an AI investor, a savvy, knowledgeable, aware, informed investor, justify the kind of money you're putting into these other companies? This is musical chairs, folks. And when the music stops, are you going to be the one holding the bag? Let's go back to the internet. Can you name 5 companies that grew explosively, tracked all kinds of investment in the 1990s? It's still around now? Okay, can you name one? Bet you don't remember Netscape. You probably never heard of VisiCalc. You probably never heard of Ask Jeeves. Probably never heard of any of those. They were major companies. If you were watching the Super Bowl in 1999 or 2000, you were seeing brand new internet companies spending outrageous amounts of money. And when the commercial was done, you still had no idea what they did. Blew through a lot of money. Let's talk broadband. Broadband, the companies, the original companies that spent the money, made the investment to build out broadband. How many of those are still around? Most of the companies that have deployed broadband now bought that capacity for pennies on the dollar when the internet crashed. I argue and I present to you that these AI companies are setting themselves up. I think somebody's going to take the air out of the balloon. And while, yes, China is running behind, but China has shown an inert ability to leapfrog. And because their coding is open source, meaning that the collective will get more mileage out of it than their proprietary systems. And part of that investment is keeping a proprietary system that they can monetize. And I'm telling you, in 1 year, 18 months' time, these large companies are going to have their reckoning, and it's not going to be pretty. Watch Oracle. They're first. They borrowed a lot of money. You can't make the kind of profit they need to make on this kind of investment and the money they're borrowing. It's way too much. And they need just an outrageous return. Climate change is making ice melt in the Arctic. That should make cargo routes in the region safer, right? We are the Tech Mobility Show.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than AONmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. AONmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
To learn more about the Tech Mobility Show, start by visiting our website. Hi, I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. The website is a treasure trove of information about me and the show, as well as where to find it on the radio across the country. Keep up with the happenings at the Tech Mobility Show by visiting techmobility.show. That's techmobility.show. You can also drop us a line at talk@techmobility.show.
In business, opportunity doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Playbook Investors Network, we connect visionary entrepreneurs with the strategies, resources, and capital they need to win. Whether you're launching, scaling, or reimagining your business, our network turns ambition into measurable success. Your vision deserves more than a plan. It deserves a playbook that works. Playbook Investors Network, where bold ideas meet bold results. Visit pincommunity.org today.
Did you know that Tech Mobility has a YouTube channel? Hi, I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. Each week, I upload a few short videos of some of the hot topics that I cover during my weekly radio program. I've designed these videos to be informative and entertaining. It's another way to keep up on current mobility and technology news and information. Be sure to watch, like, and subscribe to my channel. That's the Tech Mobility Show on YouTube. Check it out. To quote the late Stan Rogers, he wrote a song about the Northwest Passage. And I want to read some of those lyrics in a minute because it's very chilling. If you've ever heard the song, it's a very haunting song, and he makes a point. But to be clear, thawing ice right now is not making the Arctic waters any easier to navigate, yet corporate shipping interests are looking north to find alternative shipping routes to Asia around the North Pole. So the big question is, why that disconnect? This is topic C. First, the reality. Climate change is melting sea ice at a quickening pace, and in the process, rekindling dreams that have beguiled seafarers for centuries, finding an alternative shipping route to Asia around the North Pole. To hear Stan Rogers sing it, he said, just one time I would take the Northwest Passage to find the hand of Franklin reaching for the Beaufort Sea, tracing one warm line through a land so wild and savage, and make a Northwest Passage to the sea. Good luck with that. Commercial shippers hope to establish express shipping lane to save time and money. Western governments seem to deepen their presence in the Arctic to catch up with Russia. And of course, tourists and researchers are drawn to one of the least explored places on the earth. But in a paradox of this global warming, thawing ice isn't making Arctic waters safer to navigate. It makes them more dangerous. Why is that? It is because of what they call multi-year ice. Multi-year ice is the toughest ice there is. There's different types of ice. The multi-year ice doesn't have salt. It's solid. It could crush or tear up ships. And with all of this stuff now melting and breaking apart, it's become a literal minefield of all these dangerous icebergs. Oh no, this has got nothing on the Titanic. Absolutely not. It's ugly up there. During the growth in maritime traffic is a widespread idea that the Northwest Passage, a labyrinth network of straits and channels connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans through the Arctic, will soon become a sustainable freight thoroughfare. And it won't happen anytime soon. As temperatures rise, icebergs and thick chunks of centuries-old ice are released into open water, turning shipping straits into minefields. Adding to the risk, less ice cover invites higher waves. What does that mean? Let me stop right there. Higher waves caught by these winds literally freeze the ships the minute that mist hits them. That much ice could disable a ship. If you've ever watched any program where the ships were up above the Arctic Circle and you saw that ice and you saw them whacking at the ice, they have to, because it screws the whole ship up. It screws its ability to stay upright. Could sink it, could damage it, could slow it down. A million different things. It's not good. Still, commercial pressures to motivate shippers to push boundaries, raising the risk of accidents, oil spills, or even getting stuck in the ice. Commercial transits through the Northwest Passage hit a record high in 2023 with 13 voyages. That doesn't sound like a lot, does it? According to a tally by the Scott Polar Research Institute at the University of Cambridge. This is why they did it. Traversing the Northwest Passage would save shippers an estimated 2 weeks when compared to the Panama Canal. 2 weeks. Yet, only 6 commercial cargo vessels completed the full Northwest Passage this year. One of them, the Dutch flag Thamesborg, ran aground in the Franklin Strait where it got stuck for over a month. It was barely refloated by rescue vessels before new ice formed, which means it had been trapped. It would have been trapped all winter. On the other hand, Russia's Northern Sea route, the other viable passage through the Arctic, is much busier. Last year, 92 vessels transited there, carrying 37.9 million tons of cargo. A Chinese shipping company, Hayaji, in September announced a new express container route connecting ports in China with destinations in the UK, Netherlands, Germany, and Poland. The Arctic portion of the trip is meant to take only 18 days. If you've ever traveled by ship in the Arctic, lesson number 1, when you enter the Arctic, you surrender control. The writer talked about taking a ship up there and was trying to get to the small Inuit hamlet of Arctic Bay. They were guaranteed that they'd get there by the next morning. But when he woke up the next morning, he found the ship hadn't moved for 6 hours because around midnight, a thick fog had suddenly amassed, reducing visibility to no less than 2 ship lengths. The vessel was now surrounded on all sides by small islands of ice capable of puncturing the hull. We had just entered the Northwest Passage, and it was September, supposedly the easiest time to transit after a full warm weather season before the new ice formed. Think about that for a minute. They talked about being 10 hours at full speed in clear weather from where the HMS Terror and HMS Erebus were lost in 1848 during the ill-fated Franklin expedition, which inspired a 2007 novel and popular AMC television show, The Terror. Think about this. The wreckage was recovered 150 years later. Yeah, I'm leaving that for, yeah. By comparison, history's most famous iceberg collision, which sank the Titanic, happened 2,000 miles to the south. Should the boat that he was on get stuck in the Northwest Passage, the nearest icebreaker was a week away. 1 week. This is not for the faint of heart. And right now, the U.S. is playing catch-up. We talked about that, where we have just commissioned to build 11 new icebreakers, and they're medium-duty icebreakers. And Finland is building them for us because that kind of experience is very specialized. Not everybody knows how to make them. And we are playing catch-up, by the way, because I believe that China has 18 and Russia has 40 icebreakers. And they both have heavy icebreakers, which is what you really need, not the medium-duty ones we're buying. Northwest Passage, it's the next battleground on transportation. We talk about it all here, from the heat to the cold, now the Arctic. We'll see what happens in the Northwest Passage. Will they make it? Or will the ice do them in? That's a question to consider.
This is the Tech Mobility Podcast.
Every great business starts with a spark, but taking it to the next level takes strategy, connections, and capital. That's where Playbook Investors Network comes in. We're your strategic partner for accelerating growth, navigating challenges, and capturing market opportunities before your competition does. Your business is more than an idea. Let's make it an impact. Playbook Investors Network. Your future starts here. Learn more at pincommunity.org.
To learn more about the Tech Mobility Show, start by visiting our website. I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. The website is a treasure trove of information about me and the show, as well as where to find it on the radio across the country. Keep up with the happenings at the Tech Mobility Show by visiting techmobility.show. You can also drop us a line at talk@techmobility.show.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than AONmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. AONmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
You've got the drive. You've got the vision. Now you need the right partner to make it happen. At Playbook Investors Network, we power ambitious leaders with the tools, insight, and investment connections to move faster, grow stronger, and lead markets. We're more than advisors. We're your co-pilots in success. Because in business, standing still is not an option. Playbook Investors Network, fueling ambition, delivering results. Visit pincommunity.org.